Hello, welcome everyone. Welcome to, wow, this is week 5 already. How is everyone doing today? Hope everyone is well. Hello, hello, hello. We're in week 5. How is everyone doing today? Give me some hearts, give me some love if you can hear me. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Excellent. So we're in week 5, and I just wanted to share some things with you because I really want you to be able to really push forward with looking at your team members. We're in week 5. So week 5 is about how to get clients. Excellent. You can hear me. Wonderful. Thank you. How can you get clients using remote sources for your business? Because it's really important that you, as the business owner, that you're thinking about these things. And I know sometimes it can be difficult. So grab yourself a coffee and tea or water, just like I am. Cheers. And we're going to delve into it. So what I want to say is that looking at placing remote sources to help you look for clients is not a quick, fast, easy way of doing it. It's best to ensure that you have got organizations that are trained, that can help you to supply staff members that can supply staff members so they can help you find clients, okay? As well as help you with your paperwork. There's lots of reasons why you need different types of recruiters, for example. Now, what will these recruiters be able to do for you is that they will be able to they will look for candidates for your medical staffing agency, for example. Okay, that's one of the things that they can help you to do, because it is a lot for you as the business owner to try and do all of these things, run your business, do all the compliance, etc. And you've also got to deal with payroll, all the different things that you're dealing with. So a remote sourcer is really good because they can look for candidates for your organization that is going to match the company that is looking for you to provide the staff members to. Now, this person can work for you on a commission basis, or they can work for you on a salary basis. Now, it's up to you how you prefer to do this. Now, what I would say to you is, first of all, make sure that you know the type of candidates that you are looking for in your organization, because if you don't, then you could become, unstuck, for example. So what type of staff members are you looking for to work in your organization so that they can help source the candidates that you need to place them on a permanent or a temporary basis? Okay. Now, thankfully, we are able to look at remote people that are anywhere around the world, for example, for your organization. So you've then got more choice then to find the best talent for your organization. Now, isn't that something that would be really beneficial to you? It definitely would be, because at the end of the day, you've then got more choices for you as the organization, rather than someone just coming into your office, for example, and then you're interviewing them and they're local, for example. You could get anyone from around the world, for example. Now, what that sourcer can do for you is they're going to look for those vacancies that your organization is looking to fill for that company. Okay. So they will be doing that purely 24, during the hours that they're working. For example, if it's 9 to 5 or 11 till 7, you set the time, for example, and then they will then look and source that candidate for you. Okay. And then once that candidate has been found, then you, the owner, can then approach the organization that is looking for a particular candidate, for example, and then you can actually say to them, hey, I've got this wonderful candidate and they've got this much experience and they really do suit the specification that you're looking for. And I would like to arrange for you to interview this person, this candidate, because I really feel that they are top-notch, top talent for your business, for example. So then that organization will turn around to you and say, oh, okay, yeah, all right then. So send me the details of the candidate that you're looking for me to interview, because obviously they want to make sure that that person is suited, they're going to be the right fit for the position that they currently have. Okay, so you as the organization need to ensure that the recruiter, the sourcer, has found the right candidate for you. Then you're then going to approach the organization that is going to either pay you a commission for finding them the right candidate, or they're going to pay you an hourly rate. Okay, so those are the things that you need to do. So are you going to be placing permanent candidates, or are you going to be placing temporary candidates, for example, 12-hour shift, for example? Okay, so now these sources are in your organization. They can be doing that all day. So then you could really start to look at organizations that you want to work with. So you could have like 5 organizations that you're constantly sourcing candidates for. Now imagine that you're placing candidates with an organization. Say if you're placing for a month, 4 candidates a month, and that's one recruiter sourcer person is doing that. Okay, so imagine that you're getting 20% of that candidate that is being placed with that organization on a permanent basis, and you're getting 20% of their annual salary, for example. Okay, or 1.5 or 2 times, for example. Okay, if it's a temporary position. So imagine that you've placed someone and you've got 20%. So if you're looking at, I've just got my calculator here. So get your calculator out. So if you're placing, say, a nurse at 85,000, for example, and you're charging, say, 25%, that's 21,000 just for placing one nurse a year. But when I say 85,000, we're looking at a high level band that you're placing with that organization. Okay, so that's 21,000. Can you see that? 21,250 that you would invoice for. So imagine if you placed 4. Okay, so let's times that by 4. That's 85,000 a month for placing 4 candidates with an organization. That's 4 nurses. So you got a remote sourcer who is a recruitment person, for example, and they are purely looking for candidates that's going to suit the organization that you want to have them work and look for the candidates for. And then you're then speaking with the owners or the recruiter of that organization, and you're placing the candidates with that organization. They're going to get you on a retainer fee, for example. finder's fee. So imagine that you're doing that month after month after month, and you've got one recruiter, sourcer person. Imagine that. And then you're then paying them a salary plus commission, for example. Or you can just pay them commission only, because then that way they're going to be hungry. They're going to really want to look, really spend their time searching and looking for the ideal candidate for that organization. So they're doing all the looking, for example, and then you're then approaching organizations to see whether, in terms of arranging to book the interviews with the candidates. Okay, so I wanted to touch base with you on that because I think that's so important that you do that. Okay, so you as the business owner, you've got to look at what the requirements are. So you gather that information, you speak with the business owners, for example, or the hiring manager. You understand what the specific needs are, such as the roles that need to be filled. What industry is it? Is it a specific expertise, which I would highly recommend that you do that? And what are the attributes of the candidates that they're looking for? Is it role specification? What is the role specification? So you want to ensure that there's a detailed job description so you don't get it wrong, so your remote sourcer doesn't get it wrong. So you want to make sure that you understand the candidate's profile based on the client's requirements and ensure that you've got all of the requirements of the candidate's profile. What is the ideal candidate? What qualifications do they have? What must they have as a minimum? There's no point wasting people's time if you're giving them someone that kind of, could possibly fit that criteria. They've got to meet the minimum at least. Okay. So then you've got to select, the sourcer has got to select the suitable candidates, for example. These sources need to have a track record. You want to choose them because they've got a proven record in that industry that you're looking to source for similar roles. So you need to check their past success rates, client testimonials, case studies. What is the technical proficiency? You want to ensure that the sources have adaptability and that they're using advanced sourcing tools. I mean, you can provide them with that as well. They need to be comfortable with digital communication and collaboration tools. So it needs to they need to fit all of those goals. You've got to ensure that there is a good fit, that they understand the clients that you're going to work with, the corporation's culture, the values, so that you can significantly impact a successful placement, because that is important. So another thing that you need to think about is you need to facilitate effective collaboration. What communication tools will you have? You got to have things like Slack, Microsoft Teams, for example, Zoom, to facilitate seamless interactions between the clients and also the candidate and the sources as well. Okay. Now, if you want to have the sourcer deal with your clients, then by all means you can do that. But to begin with, try and deal with it yourself so that you know what's involved. So give me some hearts if you can hear me clearly. Then you've got to think about regular updates and meetings. Now that you've established a effective collaboration, for example, you want to schedule regular check-ins and update meetings to ensure that both your clients and the sources are aligned, the recruitment sources are aligned. You want to ensure that the progress is running smoothly. And are there any changes in requirements? You just want to always also keep in touch to make sure there's no changes, because you don't want to be looking for a certain person and then suddenly they've slightly tweaked it and changed it but not informed you. Okay, so you always want to keep in contact with your clients just to let them know that you're looking, you've got some really wonderful people lined up. Schedule the dates that they would like to look at interviewing candidates. What is the deadline that they have for interviewing them? How urgent do they need candidates for example, so that you can feed back that to the recruiter as well, your sourcer. So you want to make sure that you establish a clear mechanism for feedback, i.e., that you're going to pick the phone up. Don't just email, Slack, for example. Pick the phone up, say, hey, how's it going? Hope everything's going well. I just want to give you a quick update. And then you tell the client or the potential client how things are going and that you've got some people lined up. You're just shortlisting at the moment. Okay? So you're keeping them at touch, keeping them in touch. You want to ensure that your recruiter, your sourcer, for example, is doing what they are meant to be doing and that they're gathering these candidates for you, for example. You want to ensure that you've got an applicant tracking system so that you can utilize, and this will help manage your sources and your candidates. You want to track the recruitment process, which the ATS, the applicant tracking system, will have, and you'll maintain communication with the candidates efficiently. If you're not using a remote sourcer, but why not? They are there. We're worldwide now. There's remote sources that are commission only as well. Okay. So ensure that you've got database access so that you've got access to a comprehensive the candidate database, as well as the sourcing tools that can help in identifying the best candidates. Whether the client is asking for candidates to be global, you've got to find out whether they're willing to have someone come from abroad. For example, if it's a travel nurse, it all depends what type of organization, what type of medical staffing, healthcare business that you're doing. So are you looking for travel nurses to travel to these organizations, which could be hospitals, for example, to fill the gaps, whether it's for 3 months, whether it's temporary, whether it is a permanent thing? You've got to ensure that you understand fully what the client's needs are. You've also got to look at quality assurance and compliance. You got to ensure that you are screening and vetting the candidates. The recruiter sourcer should be doing this for you anyway, but you still need to be aware of what they need to have done. And yes, we can create SOPs, which is the scope of work that you want the recruiter, the sourcer to have, for example. But you've also got to ensure that the work is being done. Okay. So what vetting processes are you going to have to ensure quality of the candidates? This must be background checks, skills testing, and also do a pre-interview so that you know that the candidate is suitable before they get put forward to the potential client, because you don't want to put the potential client off because you haven't provided them with someone really highly skilled. You want to leave it so they're like, wow, I don't know who to choose because you give me such good choices here. But the candidates that are being put forward, you've really got to screen them properly to ensure that the information that's been provided is correct. Okay, so you've got to make sure that you provide the client, the potential client, with all the compliance of that candidate. So your recruitment sourcer must have that information gathered ready for you to present to the client if you're going to be in charge of that side of things. And I would suggest that you do that to begin with so that you know how things are being done. So then that way the recruitment sourcer knows that you are managing the process in terms of you delivering to the potential client, because you should be dealing with the sales side of things. Okay, if you feel confident to do so, we do have training on that as well. Okay, so ensure that there's legal compliance, that is in place. So like I said, they need to have the relevant local and international laws regarding employment and data protection. So are you registered with the data protection laws in your locality? So you want to ensure that the recruitment sourcer is trained in the latest techniques. So what tools and industry trends to keep them up to date, to keep them in the know, keep them in their game. Okay. Then you've also got to look at your client specific training. So you want to provide the training focused on each industry, the company's culture, and the specific needs to tailor the sourcing for this to be effective, because you want to ensure that that candidate is going to meet that client that you're going to sell your services to, that that candidate meets that company's culture. Then the next thing that you need to think about is your performance matrix improvements. So what are the KPIs? You need to measure them, the candidate and the sourcer, such as the time it takes to fill, the quality of the hire, the candidate that is being placed with the organization. What is the retention? Because you want to ensure that everything is right, because you want the candidate to stay with that client so that you're being paid, for example. Is the client satisfied? So once you've placed the candidate, you want to ensure that the client is happy with the candidate. So you've arranged for the interview, you've interviewed the candidate, you know that they're the perfect candidate. The sourcer, the recruitment sourcer, is passed that on to you, for example. They've interviewed them, pre-interviewed them, you've pre-interviewed them just to make sure. Then you then arrange for them to speak with the client so that they can be interviewed by that client. The client has got all the details on the candidate, but you ensure that you haven't given all of the details to begin with until it's interview, and you get them to sign the terms of business to ensure that you will be paid once you've placed a candidate successfully, and they're not allowed to take your candidates that you put forward without paying you your commission, your retainer, for example. Okay, so what is the quality of the candidate? Are they happy with the candidate? You've placed the candidate. Now what the next thing is that you need to touch base with the client. You need to touch base with the candidate. Are they happy with the candidate? Is the candidate happy with the client? Is it a good match? Does it align? Are they looking at staying? The candidate are happy, they want to stay there, for example, that it's not a nightmare situation. Okay, so I wanted to ensure that you was up to date with that. So what you do is you would then speak with the client weekly, you would speak with the candidate weekly, and then you would make a note of things that everything is going fine, everything is going well, they showed up on time, they are doing extremely well in the role, and that the client can't do without them. That's the type of candidate that you want to place with the client. You want to develop a strong relationship because they will always keep you in mind, and you will also be aware of what their needs are candidate wise, so that you can always constantly keep looking for candidates for them. You've got your recruitment sourcer who is going to look for these candidates on a continuous basis, so that you've got a really good pool talent to place with organizations. You want to look at working with at least 4 to 5 organizations in the month, so that you can find the best candidates for them. So you need to look at utilizing as well. Once you've done that, you want to effectively utilize virtual assistants as well. They can also help you streamline the processes by reducing overheads, and they can also increase efficiency in securing new clients. So I'm going to talk to you about how this can be done. So grab your pen and paper as we talk about this further. So you want to ensure that your target market is identified, because your recruiter is trained, but also now you're looking at taking on a VA, a virtual assistant, so they need to be trained. We have virtual assistants and we train them all the time. We train them all the time on how to do things. So if you do need a virtual assistant, I'm your gal. Come to me. We can sort you out, okay? Because I know what it's like. I have used other organizations, I'm not going to mention their names, but I've used other organizations to get virtual assistants from, and it hasn't worked out very well. I've always had to train them from scratch, even though they say they're highly skilled, highly qualified, for example, and they're not. They need to be trained, because healthcare, medical staffing is not the same as social media or marketing, for example. Okay, it's different. Okay, so but virtual assistants are very, very good to have. The recruitment sourcer, they require a higher rate. For example, the virtual assistants, because you're training and they're being trained, they come at a level of trained, but the rate is not as high as a recruiter sourcer, for example, even though we do have them as well. Okay, but with the virtual assistant, like I said, it is a reduced overhead, and it will increase your efficiency in securing new clients. So you want to ensure that you've got your client acquisition strategy defined, okay? Because this must be done first. So what is your target market? Who are they? Have you identified them? You want to clearly define who your ideal client base are and the industry, what the company size is, what the need is, and any other related criteria. So what is your service offering? What do you offer? And who are your potential clients? What benefits will they gain from you? And why are you unique as opposed to your competitors? How do you stand out? Now, I've just spoken to you about the recruiters' sources, how they can get the clients for you. But the virtual assistants, they're there to help you to also assist the recruiter who is a sourcer as well, but more experienced. There's different levels, okay? So, like I said, you know what your service, you know what the client service offering is. You want to train your VA. So, like I said, we train VAs to help our clients as well. And we've just started our virtual assistance agency, for example. So when you're hiring a VA with the necessary skills, such as communication, research, CRM, software management, and any possible sales experience. So what platforms have they used? Or what are they specialized in? That's important. Like I said, we are a specialized virtual assistant agency, and we can help you if you need that. But for you, if you're looking at training your VA, we can even provide you with VAs so they can work for your organization, like I said, but you can also train your VA on your business model, the services, and the target client profile that you're looking for, and the tools they'll be using, like, for example, Slack. For example, there's Zoom, there's Teams, there's Google Meet, there's lots of different tools that you can have, because I would highly suggest that you monitor your VAs as well as your recruiter sourcer as well. Just have a quick 15-minute meeting with them, a quick huddle, for example, just to go through what the targets are, making sure that things are on track. So you want to explain to the VA the client profile, just like your candidates have a profile. You got to explain who your client profile is as well. So what tools will you need for setup and integration? So there's CRMs, and which CRMs are customer relationship management, whereby you have a list of potential clients, for example, you've got them in your software, which is a CRM, which is really leads, and you're going to have your VAs and your recruitment sources, for example, approach these potential clients just to make sure that things are going smoothly, for example. There's tools that you can use, which is HubSpot, Zoho as well, can be effective. There's communication tools that you need to think about as when you're communicating with your VA that needs to be reliable, i.e. email. There's chat apps, for example, for outreach and follow-ups, because you can't just leave them to just get on with things, because how do you know that they're really working for you 100% if you don't have these tools in place? And things that you need to look out for, if you're reaching out to your VA and they're not responding, then there's a problem there. They're either doing work for someone else, or they're perhaps not at their desk. Okay, so just be mindful of that. You can have telephone systems like VoIP, you know, the voice over internet provider. So there's different chat apps as well, like Teams as well is good, where you can communicate with one another. You can even call on Teams as well and say, let's meet now, for example. Another thing that you need to think about is lead generation and management. So assign your virtual assistant to identify potential leads using online directories. There's LinkedIn, there's forums and other platforms on social media like Facebook, for example. Initial contact, you want your VA to reach out to potential leads through email, social media messages like DMs, but you've got to have the correct messaging, the correct wording, so that you don't seem like you're pushing people. You want it to be a natural flow, for example. You don't want to be aggressive with your virtual assistant, i.e. messaging people, DMing people, because it can become too spammy as well. So what qualifies as a lead? So you need to let the virtual assistant be aware of what qualifies as a lead for screening of potential clients. What is the interest? What fits well for your organization before escalating them to you to provide deeper engagement. Don't leave it for the VA to do the deeper engagement. That is for you to do as the sales person, for example. So, for example, what would happen then is that they would have a link for them to book a free 15-minute call, for example, whereby you as the business owner will speak to the potential client, not the virtual assistant. They're there to find the leads for you, but you're there to close the sale. Okay, same as your recruiter, sourcer, they can close the sale once you know once they know how to do it. But I really would highly recommend that you do it, because at the end of the day, there's no one better than speaking to the business owner, for example. So think about when you are looking at speaking with your potential clients, for example. So your virtual assistant is there to assist you. And like I said, we've started our VA agency. It started this month. So this is why you're getting to hear it first here now, before I, let it out to the world. Because we do help businesses to help them with virtual assistants, but we train them, because there's so many agencies out there that's saying that they've got trained VAs, and they're not trained VAs. They're not. And, we do train our VAs. And when I say we train them properly, we do train them properly. And we guide them as well. We don't leave them to their own devices. There's always someone supporting you. So if you was to use a VA from us, we would train them. They're already trained anyway how to use what we do anyway for our clients, for example. But we would also ensure that they are trained working to your organization. So we would train them to work with your organization. And I think it's such a wonderful, I wish I had that many moons ago. It would have saved me a lot of headache, for example, in my healthcare business. But, in terms of your VA, they're very good once they're trained. And we will also keep an eye on the communication, as well as we would meet with you every 2 weeks, just for 15 minutes, just to make sure that everything is running smoothly as well on both sides, because it works both ways. Okay. We would also help you to train your VA as well as we would train them as well, so that you know what it is that they're meant to be doing, so that you're able to monitor and to keep things flowing as we've passed them over to you, for example. Now you can have them on a temporary basis or you can have them on a permanent basis, but we do charge a fee for that as well. Okay. But I think it's always good to have the virtual assistants so that you've got that support from an organization like myself. Our agency is called a virtual assistant, AVA for short, for example. Okay, I just wanted to point that out to you, and we will be posting this into the groups as well, but you're the first ones to hear about this today. So we will also help you with social media management, but your VA can do this as well. They can manage your social media profiles. They can post updates. They can engage with your followers. They can promote your content. They can do images. They can do graphics. They can help do videos, things like that. That's going to help push and drive business your way. Your VA should manage your calendar, schedule meetings with potential clients, and send reminders so you never have to miss an opportunity again. They'll also do follow-up communication after the initial meeting. The VA can handle follow-ups if you want them to keep your leads engaged. They'll answer further questions, move conversations towards a contract. They're not there to sell. They're there to just communicate and to move things smoothly to you to sell. Okay. You need to ensure that you're doing performance monitoring as well. That is by tracking results. Utilize your CRM to track the VA's activities, and we help you with this as well. And what the outcomes of those activities, such as the number of leads, is important, and the leads that were generated and the conversation rates that they've had. It's important to monitor and to have a reporting system of what's happened in that week. You can also give feedback and also improvement as well. So you want to ensure that you regularly do regular reviews of the performance and provide feedback to your VA, because they need to know that you're happy with what they're doing. And you can even give a bonus as well. You want to make adjustments so that strategies and processes based on the results continuously improve efficiency. So I'm talking to you about the VA side of things because it's important, because you as a business owner, you don't need to do all of this by yourself. You need to understand about what's involved. And that's why we offer, with our virtual assistants, with our AVA systems, for example, I'm here to guide you, the business owner, and train you as well as the VA is trained. And it's a good match because you'll both be aligned with what it is that you need for your organization. And I think that's something so important that's lacking out there. I've used so many virtual assistant company, not so many, I've used a couple of them. And I thought, you know what? I might as well get on with it and just do it and show them myself how I want it done, for example. And it's come out a lot better. Okay. So you as the business owner, you need to ensure that you are compliant. You're showing them your compliancy that needs to be done and any training. Okay. So your VA needs to, as well as you, needs to ensure that you're protecting people's data and that it complies with data protection laws relevant to your business and to the location of your clients. You also want to encourage ongoing learning and development by providing access to courses and training relevant to client acquisition and industry trends. Now, I'm going to say this because I am the only one that has got a platform for you to go on as the business owner, for you to learn about your business, for example, but also to learn what your VA should be doing, your virtual assistant should be doing, and what your remote sourcer should be doing as well. They've also got a dashboard that they can go on and learn about what it is that they're from the training that we provide and what it is that they're meant to be doing for your organization, what was agreed. We will provide you with SOPs, statement of work, not job descriptions, but statement of workflows of what they need to be doing. And we provide the video trainings as well for you to access, as well as for the virtual assistants to access as well. So if this is something that you're interested in, do let our team know, so that we're going to send you a link anyway so that you can book a free 15-minute consultation with myself so that I can talk to you about what the virtual assistant services that we offer, which is the AVA, for example. It's important because I think that you need to be aware of how you can do the services that you want to provide. Now, the virtual assistants services that we provide, it's called Alpha Virtual Assistants, but I say AVA for short. Okay, so it's Alpha Virtual Assistants, and we are the only ones that are offering this in the healthcare industry, and this is worldwide. So like I said, you as a business owner will have access to the logins so that you can log in and watch videos and learn more about what you should be doing for your recruiters and what the recruiters should be doing, as well as the virtual assistants, what they should be doing, as well as what you should be doing. And we also have the dashboard for the recruiter, sourcer, as well as the virtual assistant, so that they know what they should be doing. But every company is different. So we would have to match the right persons to your organization. And then we also train them so that they're really fine-tuned specifically to your organization. And then we would meet every 2 weeks just for a quick short meeting, just to make sure that all members are happy with the service that's being provided and that the VA or the recruiter sourcer is also happy as well. So continuing on, it's always good to ensure that you encourage learning and development by providing access to the courses which we provide you with as well. If you was to go with our Alpha virtual assistants, for example. So I just wanted to share that with you. So moving swiftly on, Now, in terms of prospecting, you want to build a list. So your virtual assistant will compile a list of potential leads using specific criteria that match your market. This may include, like I said, the company size, the location, the role, the contact person in HR, the managers, department heads of the company. On LinkedIn, for example, we'll be able to find professionals. You also may need to do this in relevant to your organization. I use a Sales Navigator on my LinkedIn, for example, and this can really be a good tool to refine your searches. You can also get the VA to collect your data, for example. The next thing that you need to think about is your initial contact, emailing. You can use your VA to have templates to send out emails, for example, to give a personalized touch to a potential lead. And these emails should briefly introduce your company, what your services are, and express how you can address their specific needs. That is the clients, for example. You need to look at social media outreach as well for generating leads through platforms like LinkedIn. You can use a VA. They can do direct messaging, or you can, for example, to ensure that messages are professional, concise, and tailored. We have a list of scripts for direct messages that you can use that are really successful as well. You need to track all your responses, all your correspondences by using your CRM systems to ensure that follow-ups are timely and no leads are overlooked. You want to ensure that you qualify your leads as well, because at the end of the day, you want to make sure that the person that you are approaching are the right persons that can give you the work. Okay. So this is where the training comes in for you to ensure that you're approaching the right person, or you can get the VA or the recruiter to do this for you. So have a list of assessment questions that can be used for follow-up communications, for example. You'll need to have documentation to use, for example, or you can get the VA to have the documentation that's got all the different types of interactions and insights to gain during the qualification processes in your CRM. So this information, it is crucial for effectively transforming the lead to your sales. So then what needs to happen is that it should be escalated to you to do the sales once the lead has been qualified. Now, best practices, like I said, is regular update with your VA, and also the best practices in communication, data handling, ensuring that they remain effective and compliant with any regulatory changes. Also, you need to ensure that there's feedback, that you're giving communication where the sales team can provide insights back to the VA to help with qualifying leads and any adjustments needed in the prospecting of a client process. So you want to also periodically review the process and tools used by the VA to make sure that the improvements are increase both quality and quantity. This will lead to more leads being generated. So I hope that that's been helpful for you today, because at the end of the day, we're in week 5, but you've also got to look at making leads. So I want to know how you're going to start doing your leads now. We've gone through week 1 to 5. This is week 5. Now, if you've enjoyed this training that I've provided you with, I would like you to join our next program that we've got, which is a group coaching session, for example. But this is also, the group coaching session is also about you having a VA, a virtual assistant, as well as a recruiter, a sourcer recruiter as well. So we're going to send you some details about our alpha services, which is a virtual assistant services, for example. I'll send you the details on that so that you can book a free 15-minute chat with me, and I'll go through our group coaching session, which is to do with medical staffing, how to start a medical staffing business. This is a 3-month group coaching that I provide, but you also get a virtual assistant as well as a recruiter, which is commissioned only, for example. Now, would you like that information? I'm going to send you an email because I'm really excited about it, because I know that we can do something for you. This is a 3-month program, and this is weekly training as well, which is 1 hour a week for 3 months. But also you are getting your virtual assistant as well. And this is a beta, but this is where we will give you the alpha virtual assistant, as well as you'll get a recruiter. We will source a recruiter for you who will work on a commission only basis. Now, hands up, who wants that? Because I know if that was me, I would be grabbing it straight away. So this is a good deal. So I'm going to send you an email so that you're going to get follow-up from this. I hope that you can join our 3-month group coaching program, which starts this month as well. I'm really excited. So do look out for the emails. Our team will also reach out to you just to make sure that you've listened to all of the videos. The videos are here. You've got the links for them. I want you to keep communicating with us. And although this is week 5, I don't see this as a goodbye. I see it as hello, a new start, a new beginning. This week we've had Orthodox Easter in Cyprus, which is, very religious time in Cyprus. But what I want to say to you is that it's a new beginning. It's a new start. You've looked at the 5-week challenge. I hope that you've taken action. I'd love to hear what it is that you've done. So do book a free 15-minute, because I want to know what you've done in those 5 weeks as well. And I hope that you can take us up on the AVA project, which is the virtual assistant project as well. And I can talk to you about the recruiter sourcer, for example, which is working commissioned only, for example. So thank you everyone so much for being here today. I hope that you've all had a wonderful training session. I hope that I've enlightened you, and please do write things down, make a plan, read through, listen to these videos, make a plan, because we're now in May. It's going to be almost half of the year gone already. So it's time to take action. So thank you so much, everyone. Have a blessed day. Take care. Thank you. Goodbye. Bye, everyone. Thank you, team. Bye.